We have been expecting you, Mr. Bond. That's right! It's time for all of my evil plans and nefarious goals for 2019. All the plans and all the goals. All the plans and all the goals. You know what the actual sad thing is about this opening? I have 4 real cats and I could not have got a single one of them to sit on my lap for long enough to do that. So if you guys are anything like me, then you have gone into 2019 convinced that this is going to be your year and you're going to become a new person. Instead of becoming an actual new person, I have decided to become Leanne 2.0. A little bit improved, but still pretty crap and riddled with anxiety version. I know I should have used you for the bit, but it wouldn't have worked. You're not a cat. You really aren't. Despite what you may think, you are not a cat. Goodbye. I make resolutions and plans every year, but this year I've decided to be A, more realistic, and to B, cut myself a little bit of slack. So I'm not going to be comparing my bookish goals or my channel goals to any years previous. I'm just going to do a whole new set and every single one of them is going to be positive. Where's my phone? Can't tell you my goals if I can't find my phone. Not improved organisational skills though, apparently. This year I have 10 bookish goals for myself and they go like this. Numero uno. I want to read 100 books this year. I started this channel in 2015 and that is when I started my Goodreads account and when I started really tracking my reading. Since then, every year I have read around about 75 books. That is my average. In 2018 I managed 79 and I honestly think if I hadn't had such a huge slump at the start of the year, I would easily have hit 100 books because I am reading faster and more than I ever have before. I love reading. It is so relaxing for me. It eases my anxiety so much and I just want to do more of it. And before we go any further in this video, I'm just gonna say it right now. You do you. I'm doing me. No further discussion is required. My second bookish goal for 2019 is simply to keep a book journal for the entire year. I started bookish bullet journaling last year, kind of mid-year, and it's the first time I've really kept it up for a long time. So for 2019 I bought myself a Leuchtturm and I have been doing watercolour spreads in it that look kind of like this. Yes, I have a Terry Pratchett witches theme going on for my setup pages this year. Shut up. I also want you guys to let me know whether you would like to see any bookish journal videos. They're not so much bullet journals for me. I don't use a bullet journaling system. I don't really have a calendar. They're all just book pages and book tracking information and reading time tracking information and things like stuff that only us book nerds will really enjoy. The third thing that I want to accomplish this year is to read at least half of the unread books on my Kindle. I've had a Kindle for several years now, but I fell out of love with it for a really long time. And recently I have upgraded it and I'm quite enjoying reading from it. That has meant that for the last 6 months or so, there have been a lot of purchases on my Kindle and I am not picking up and getting through those books as easily as I do the books that are in front of me every day. So I am going to make a list and I am going to count up how many I have and then I'm setting myself the target to whack off half of them in 2019. My fourth bookish goal for 2019 is to complete #DeathByThePrompt every month. So for those of you who don't know, the wonderful Kirsty and I host a podcast called Death by the Books. I will put all of the information as usual in the description below. It's a podcast dedicated almost entirely to books where people die. Doesn't have to be crime or thriller, it just has to have bodies in it. And on Instagram for 2019 we are going to be running a monthly prompt challenge. So we have a prompt jar and we're picking one out every month entirely at random and then letting you guys know which book we have picked and read for it and letting you guys join in with us. It's a little bit of an informal book club where you guys can pick the same books as us if you like, but you can also pick any books off your shelf that you want to tick off for the year and use that prompt. So just in case you're interested in joining in with January's prompt, it is a book which has a TV or movie adaptation. I have picked A Simple Favour by Darcy Bell, which is a really recent big hit movie, and I'm very, very excited to get my teeth into it. Number 5 of my goals this year is to read or unhaul every book on my must-read 2019 list. I don't usually set myself lists of books that I have to read because it automatically makes me not want to go anywhere near them. But as you guys will have seen from my slightly bitchy unhaul, I recently did a really good weed through my collection, and I have allowed some books to stay on my shelf that I have had for several years and have not read them. I'm going to be sharing with you what is on that list in a couple of weeks so that you guys can, you know, keep me accountable and honest. And if there's any books left on that list at the end that I haven't read, they have to go at the end of 2019, because if I don't read them this year, who's to say I'm going to read them next year or the year after that? One of them has been on my shelf for 4 years. I totally just had to check what number we were on. Bookish goals 6 for 2019 is that I want to complete 3 series. I have a lot of book series on the go at the moment, and it's making me a little bit anxious, so I just want to get to the end of a couple of them and just say that I have completed and enjoyed them. For anybody who is new here, and hi, there's quite a few of you, thank you for subscribing and sticking around for my blethering. I am doing a pretty protracted Agatha Christie project where I read Miss Marple and Poirot in order and then move on to her other standalone books and series and things like that. So I've decided that one of the series that I'm going to try and finish this year is Miss Marple, because I only have 3 books left in that series. I'm very, very sad. I'm sad. I'm very sad. But it will reduce my overall anxiety. Goal number 7! I've just done a really massive unhaul, and I have pruned my collection down to books that I really want to read. So I just want to be a little bit more choosy with what I pick up in 2019. I had a lot of DNFs and a lot of bum books last year, and I am usually really good at choosing things for myself. Part of the issue last year, I think, was due to some interesting marketing choices from publishers, which I will talk about in my worst books video of 2018, coming to a screen near you soon. But part of that was also that I got excited about a premise and then I purchased the book without really sitting on it and thinking, when am I going to read that? And that's all I'm going to try and do this year. So I'm not flogging myself, but I am also trying to make better choices. For number 8, I never really feel like I have really set myself any bookish goals unless I set myself a weird challenge. Some years I will follow prompt lists from the likes of Reading Women or Book Riot's lists, but none of those have felt really like they fit me for the last couple of years. So for 2019, I have set myself the challenge to read 1 book from every genre on my shelves. I'll be telling you guys which genre and which book is going to count in my monthly stack it TBRs that I do, and I will again try and keep myself accountable. I always like to set up an easy goal for myself every year, and weirdly the easy goal for myself is number 9, and that is to do 3 book unhauls during the year. And I think I can safely say that I accomplished that goal with my rather large, slightly bitchy unhaul, which I will link up here if you haven't seen it yet. I was quite pleased with the number of books that I got rid of in that video. I think I got up to 114 maybe, and I have since thrown even more away off camera. So I don't think it's going to be too difficult. And finally, ding 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 ding, goal number 10! I want to try and read an audiobook every month in 2019. I flew, no pun intended, through The Witch's audiobooks last year. Still training myself to say last year. Still gonna screw that up. Probably already have and haven't noticed. I love them. I think I did 5 8-hour audiobooks in the space of 1 month, so I can do it when I want to alongside, you know, physical reading. I can do it, so I want to do it. And now we are on to the goals for my shiny channel. I only have a couple of them. They are not groundbreaking. My first goal is quite simply to try and achieve some sort of upload schedule this year. Last year was very broken up. I either uploaded loads and loads, or I was quite quiet for a couple of weeks. Yep, some of that is the fact that I do have anxiety and I do have some chronic conditions and I do need to occasionally take a break. But I would like to be a little bit better about filming in advance so that when I do need to take a break, I have some videos in the can that I can upload for you guys, and there might be less than is ideal, but there will still be some videos. Goal 2 is entirely for me. It's not going to change anything for you guys, but I would like to get a little bit better at editing, you know, quickly, as opposed to filming and being like, yay, I filmed, and just expecting it to magically turn up as a finished product on YouTube. My procrastination gene is possibly the strongest one that has been passed on to me. I also want to bring you guys a lot more original content this year. I trialled out a few different videos last year, some top 10 lists that were really in depth and some where to start with different genres lists, and you guys absolutely freaking loved them. My where to start with horror video, which again, if you haven't seen and you're interested in, I will link up here. That video is one of the most viewed videos on my channel. You guys went absolutely nuts for it. So I am going to try and do lots more of those this year. Goal number 4 is about comments. So you guys might have noticed that last year I found it very, very difficult to reply to comments. I would get into the comment section of my videos and I would maybe reply to 1 or 2, and then I would get such complete all-consuming anxiety that I sounded like an idiot, that you guys didn't want to really talk to me, that you guys didn't really care what I had to say, and none of that is about you. None of that is about the types of comments that I get, because I get such overwhelmingly positive comments for the most part from you guys. If I get dislike comments, they're usually very polite differences of opinion. I rarely get troll comments, but in my head that is where my social anxiety goes, right down the imposter hole. This year I am going to try my level best to reply to all of your comments, because I miss talking to you guys so bad. I have made so many amazing friends and have so many beautiful regular commenting people who, no matter how long it's been since I last actually individually replied to them, always leave messages, and I am so grateful for that, and I want to make sure that you guys know that. So I am going to try my very, very best to reply to all the comments on every video this year. Goal number 5 for my channel is to continue some series that I have started that you guys consistently tell me you want to see again. I'm going to continue my Stack It challenge for next year. For those of you who are brand new, Stack It is a TBR challenge where I pick all of the books off of my shelves that I want to read for that month. I make a big stack of them in whatever order. Sometimes I just order them as I pick them up. Sometimes I go through and prioritise them according to my whims. And the rule is that I have to read from top to bottom of that stack, and if I come to a book that I am not interested in, then I need to unhaul it, because the reality is that most of the time if I put a book down, I very rarely come back to it. But that book can sit on my shelf for a really long time. I added a couple of rules towards the end of last year where I am allowed once anywhere during the stack to flip it and start from the other side. And if you're following the rules, you're now allowed 1 free choice. So that accommodated any pre-ordered new releases that I was desperate to get to immediately, like Lethal White last year. I had to make the rule. I had to let myself do it. I'm going to continue my tops and bottoms wrap-up style every month because you guys seem to really like that. So that is where, rather than a traditional wrap-up where I would tell you about all of the books that I read in the month, sometimes I liked a book fine but I don't have much to say about it. So I only tell you about my absolute tops and my absolute bottom reads for that month. And usually that's about 3 of each. And don't worry, for anybody missing it, Crime Corner will be coming back. So Crime Corner is a series where I talk about crime, mystery, thriller and sometimes horror books that can either be books that I have purchased, anticipated books, books that all fall into a certain category. I make lists, I chat. I know that a lot of you guys found me through Crime Corner and are missing it. I am missing it too. The stabbiness and the death is where we shall go together. in 2019. So that is everything that I have for my bookish goals and my YouTube goals, as if that wasn't enough. It's gonna be fine, Lucy. It's gonna be fine. So as always, and especially this time, please come and talk to me in the comments section. Tell me any bookish goals that you have made for yourselves this year. Tell me any mental health and self-care positive things that you've decided that you're going to do this year. And if you have any specific books that you want to be ticking off. And I will see you again very soon with my best books of 2018. And don't worry, I will be doing a worst books. Oh yes I will. Oh yes I will. Bye!